Last time we had him on, he was America's biggest 49er fan. I bet he's going back to being America's biggest Giants fan now. Hunter Pence joining us here on Willard and Dibs. Hunter, thank you so much for coming on. We love doing it. What is your reaction to yet another free agency edition for the Giants?
I mean, this is a huge moment for Giants fans, and what an amazing opportunity for us to bring in the reigning NL Cy Young winner, backed up with the runner-up in Logan Webb. I mean, you got to tip your cap to Farhan to really committing to this season, and the NL West just got even more dangerous, so it's pretty exciting.
How hard would it be as a teammate to have to sit there and wait and hope that Farhan's going to get it done, and now you wait until March 18th and finally they're able to pull the trigger? Does that affect the teammates at all when you're kind of hoping for an upgrade and then you finally get one late into spring?
Well, I think the work that's been going in, these guys were ready to go, whether you add or not. You just, these guys, the camaraderie, the work that they've been putting in, and we've had a lot of arms step up. You come out here and you hear the narrative before I got to spring training, and then I get out here and we got some arms that are looking really strong. So our depth just got even better, because you look at kind of what Spencer Howard has done this spring. He looks really, really sharp. And then obviously Dalton Jeffries has pitched like he did back in 21 for Bob Melvin and the A's. I mean, we got some depth now, and we got some really just an elite sign for San Francisco, and one of the biggest we've had in the history since I've been a part of the franchise. So this is a huge deal to bring in the reigning Cy Young winner. And these guys are ready, and I'm sure it's just a jolt. You can just feel kind of a buzz walking around camp. Everyone's excited to have him. All the staff, it's just a lift up more than anything.
Hunter, thanks. Hunter Pence with us here, Willard and Dibs. One of the things I really wanted to ask you here is because of what you represented when you were here, which is someone who came in and the fans could really put their arms around you and you'd hang out for a number of years. What's your perspective on these big names coming in, but coming in with these opt-outs to where they may only be here for 1 year?
Well, to be fair, both of these guys you would have expected to get long-term deals, and I'm not the master economist, and also I'm not the one writing the checks for $30 million for a year. That's a big risk, and that's a lot of money. And to be fair, you're looking at with Snell potentially looking probably long-term, $200 million or something, wanting probably 7 years at that rate. And so, unfortunately, the market didn't find a fit for him, and we're able to grab him and get the opportunity to have him this year. And at the end of the day, every single year having an opportunity, we bring him in. We're now World Series contenders, and you can, we backed it up. The Giants organization, the ownership, you got to tip your cap to them. They've been going for it. We tried to get Judge, we tried to get Correa, and it was kind of the monkey on the back is like, we can't, seal the deal with a big sign. And this, obviously, like you said, we have the opt-outs. But this year we get to ride it, and hopefully he goes out and proves, and maybe we sign him long term and get him to stay, and he enjoys his time in San Francisco as much as a lot of us did, and create some history that this organization is known for greatness.
How nasty is this rotation now that you've got Logan and Blake up top, and you got Kyle Harrison behind it, and then a whole variety of other arms, and we don't really know how it's going to all shape up yet?
Well, I mean, we're looking at as we get into the thick of it. Hopefully we get Snell. Cobb's coming back really quick, looking really good out here. He's recovering faster than they anticipated. But you're looking at also grabbing Robbie Ray, who is another Cy Young. I believe I'm not as certain, but either won it or runner up a couple years ago. And when he gets healthy, what he's capable of, he's mastered the craft as well. So it is a ridiculous when you come to San Francisco. And by the way, yeah, we have the 1 and 2 reigning Cy Young winners of the National League. But we upgraded the defense with a Matt Chapman, you got a Nick Ahmed fresh, feeling healthy as well, who's won 2 Gold Gloves, and then you had Jung Ho Lee, who's 5 straight Gold Gloves in center field. So pitching and defense, if you ask anyone who's been in this game for a long time, that is the blueprint to win championships. And you don't slug your way into a World Series champion. You pitch. Every single one of the championship teams has that caliber. You have that 1 and 2. But by the way, we go to 3 and 4 when you see a Alex Cobb, you see a Robbie Ray. Then don't forget, we got Jordan Hicks who blows you 102. So we'll see if how the starting gig works. But then we have 4 guys that you can count on reliable as well in the bullpen. I think all of them are going to get better with the upgraded defense. So there's some major compounding interest right here. Defense brings teams together. It builds chemistry because these pitchers are fighting their tails off for every out. And if you can scoop up all of the routine ones, which these guys are tried and true, have done that, and you can make some excellent ones. We've already seen Chapman changing games here in spring training just with balls that you don't think he even gets to, and he makes it look easy. So, man, there's a lot to be excited about. And wake up, San Francisco. The Giants are coming.
Hunter, we can hear the cage behind you. Who's hitting the ball right now?
I think I saw VR walk in there. I'm not sure. They just got out of their meetings. I've been out here in the cage watching the early work, and man, the depth now that we have is just, not only pitching and bullpen that this adds, because it just makes us way deeper when we get him back in the rotation. I'm not sure how long it's going to take to get Snell up, back in there, but we have a lot of guys that are hitting good as well. So we have a lot of veteran guys, and we have a couple dudes. You see what Munguia's done that are really knocking on the door, which is exactly what you want. You want pressure, you want tough decisions, and you want to have that for the long haul.
Hunter, you mentioned Nick Ahmed over at short, and I feel like this is kind of the underbelly of the offseason. We left last year with Farhan Zaidi saying Marco Luciano is going to get every chance to be the starting shortstop, and then it just got quiet all offseason, and now all I'm hearing is Nick Ahmed. What's going on with Luciano? What do you see?
Well, Luciano, he's one of those guys that he kind of has a load that's a timing load that takes a little time to get that load. And a lot of times, guys like that, you don't see them. And by the way, spring training to the regular season, things shift, and there's a lot of guys that kind of, have those quirky loads that take a little bit. So I think we're going to see him, they're going to want him getting every day at bats. I think we're going to see him potentially having an impact at some point. And he's gonna go off because the talent is there. The comparison of like the swing path and very similar moves to kind of an A-Rod, but he just has a little bit more in his load that he's got to crispen out, and that's kind of been his MO throughout his whole season. Is it takes him a little bit, and then once he finds that timing, he goes off and that talent shines through. But it's one of those moves that is a little bit more difficult to put together.
What have you seen from Jung Ho Lee in his time in camp, and whether or not you see him as a guy who can make a really big impact this year in his debut in MLB?
Yeah, I really think that this was one of the sneaky moves of the offseason, and I think it was really under the radar. And when you watch him work, everything is very smooth, everything is very calculated. You can understand why he's won 5 Gold Gloves, the way he runs, the way he moves. Everything is very professional. His swing is very short to the ball. It's extremely smooth, extremely quick. And you can just tell he's going to be putting a lot of balls in play, good contact, and he's just got that speed as well. But the other thing, the sneaky thing is he's he's magnetic. He's got that charisma. He's sneaky funny. I got to do a little interview with him, and he's one of those guys that everyone likes to be around. And I remember asking him, about his nickname, the grandson of the wind. He's like, well, the team gave me a new one. And he's like, I kind of like the new one. And a lot of the Latin guys and stuff are calling him Jung Ho Lee because he just hits line drives. And line drives are hit. So get ready for Jung Ho Lee to be turning and burning, baby.
Hunter Pence is with us here on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. Hunter, in your opinion and description, the biggest difference between a Gabe Kapler clubhouse and a Bob Melvin clubhouse is what?
There's just different theories altogether. And, Kapler was one of those guys who wanted to get a staff of the greatest minds in each field and then really trust them. I think you get like a Bob Melvin, you get a Pat Burrell, you get a Brian Price. These are guys who have been in the game for a very long time. And we take the science of baseball and we use that as one tool is kind of the analogy I like to use. You don't just use one tool to build a house. You can't just hammer the whole house down. You got to have wrenches and screwdrivers and saws. And so you use that tool, and they use that very well, and it's important. You need your hammer, but we also are bringing back a lot of the baseball thinking. You see them working on executing up to bat every day in batting practice. They're bringing that back, just having more people around. So it's just some things that are traditional in baseball that helps you relax and be comfortable and be together. And Bob Melvin is one of the greatest minds in baseball. He's done it for a long time, and he's had a lot of success, and you can see why A lot of accountability is coming in, and a lot of, you can just feel the history, the calm, the confidence radiating from a Pat Burrell, the knowledge. Pat Burrell to me is a hitting genius, and it's been awesome to be in the cage and watch him work and to hear his thoughts and to see the guys really cooking with him.
What are the challenges for the veterans right now as you sit 9 days away from the season opener? I know young players are still grinding to try to make the club, but what do vets do to try to stay sharp here in the final week before the real games begin?
Yeah, I mean, the veterans are and the ones we have here are extraordinarily professional. And, you start off with, Wilmer Flores, and he's kind of the guy that, you're going to see the same thing day in and day out. He's been absolutely torching it this spring. You look at Tyro Estrada, who's primed to break out. Keep him healthy and look out, all-star game. This dude is playing. He's booking. He's tough. But you got Jorge Soler, who knows what he needs to do. This is kind of the time where you turn the key. It's time to rev up, sharpen up, and you start playing everything you got. You were tuning the body, you're building the momentum, and these guys, they're locked, man. Everyone, the camaraderie of this team is tight. It's a fun group to watch. It reminds me a lot of some of the teams we had where, no one else out there believes it, but we know it. We're coming, we're locked in together, and you feel that, like, everyone on the same page. And, Bosch would always be 25 guys, one common goal, win today, and you feel them, one common goal, find a way to win. And when we don't win, we learn about it, we talk about it, we stick around. And those are the kind of things that build great teams that write the course of history.
Hunter, you're such a positive guy, and you're talking about positive vibes right now. But I do want to ask, just if you, do you notice anything amongst players? We've heard whispers, whether it's Brandon Crawford's departure, the J.D. Davis arbitration thing, even Rennell yesterday. Is there any discussion about that, and is that in any way sort of, bringing things down in the clubhouse at all?
Well, I think that the most recent one, the Rennell one, is definitely a big hit because that's a part of the spirit of San Francisco. She grew up in the Bay Area. She is the Bay Area. She, ever since I've ever come to the Giant Stadium, 24 years, she brings a different kind of spirit and vibe to an enthusiasm to the game, to the ballpark. So that one is a really tough one to swallow. And they're professionals. They're going to go and get about their business. And obviously JD was a close one with them and Brandon Crawford, but this game, it continues to move on and it continues to go. So I think the Rennell one, it definitely is tough to swallow. Hopefully we can, find out what's going on and what happened. And, I still don't know if I believe that one yet, but I think fans in the city are really feeling that because they're going about, hitting sliders and changeups and throwing sliders and changeups and fastballs and locked into the work right now.
Hunter, great stuff, man. We appreciate you finding time for us while you're out there in Arizona. Thank you. We'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting time. I'm very thrilled and excited to watch these guys go out there and get after it. We got a lot to be excited about in San Francisco. So thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yep, and go Niners also, right?
Believe it. Go Niners, go Doves, baby.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Thanks, Hunter.
All right, take care.
Yeah, there he is.